Watch Awakening with Brahmakumaris daily at 8 a.m., 2:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on Peace of Mind channel.
Namaskar. Welcome to Awakening with Brahmakumaris. You're watching Healer Within. Welcome, sister.
Om Shanti.
Sister, in the last episode, we were speaking about all the yugas. The Golden Age, Silver Age, Copper, and Golden was the Satyug.
Yes.
And Treta.
Silver Age.
Silver was Treta. And Copper was Dwapar.
Dwapar.
Duality or something.
Yes.
And then, after Dwapar?
No. When we come into the Copper Age, there's a big shift in consciousness. See, from Golden Age to Silver Age is a very gradual shift. It's more or less, and that's why...
From 100 to 75, like that?
No, not even 100 to 75. 100 to 90. That's why the first half, the entire first half is called heaven.
So we fall down slowly.
Yeah, it's
gradual.
Very gradual. We will not even realize that there is any change because it's still soul conscious. We haven't moved towards body conscious. It's from the Copper Age that body consciousness starts. Then it's duality. That's why the first half of the cycle complete is heaven.
Okay,
heaven is
50% is almost heaven.
Or not almost. 50% is heaven. It's after 50% that gradually body consciousness will start. So actually, even after it starts, it's still nice.
You mean golden and silver? I like, what is that? Satyug and Treta
Yuga, yeah.
are almost...
almost similar. And best part is all 100% soul conscious. All divine souls. All deities. Perfect world, perfect body, perfect nature, relationships, kingdom, everything perfect. No untimely death. Everybody carrying out their entire lifespan till the body is then gradually left. So everything is almost the same. So the complete 2500 years is heaven.
Okay. 1250
is Satyug.
Satyug 1250 is
Treta Yuga.
Treta.
So 2500 years.
Okay, half.
So we need to understand that for 2500 years we are in heaven. And even after that, it's a very gradual decline towards body consciousness. When we think body conscious and we think vices, we think pain, we think of what we are experiencing today. It will not be that. It will be a gradual. See, when we look at the value systems in society, even today we say, 50 years back, the value systems were, we lived in a joint family. Even, an entire area or an entire village was like a family. But within the family, the joint family, everybody lived together.
Yeah, I still remember people saying, she belongs to my village, I can't marry her. She's like a sister to me. If I have to marry outside my village. Because this village, we are all brothers and sisters.
And that was not for saying, it was really lived like that.
Yeah.
People were there for each other. If there was a problem in anybody's house, everybody would unite to help them. How long back was this?
Not very, 50 years.
We've seen a shift in the value system from when we were children to what we are today. We have lived in joint families, and today we are seeing a society when majority would prefer nuclear family. And we're shifting to a society where even children want to move away and live separately. We're shifting to a society where people say we don't feel like getting married. We just want to live alone.
Yeah, some people don't even want to have children even if you're married.
Yes. So this has happened in last 20 years.
Yeah.
50 years back, we were all huge, 20 people living together in nice houses, big houses. Today we're living in small flats. So everything, resources have reduced. Per person, the amount of resources that we have is reduced. Population has increased. Such a big shift in 50 years, what would have it been 100 years back, 1000 years back, 2000 years back? So we understand that 2500 years is heaven, then is Copper Age. Copper Age is another 1250. And then is the Iron Age, which we're living in now, Kali Yuga. That's another 1250. So 2500 years Satyug and Treta Yuga, and 2500 years Copper Age, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So today it is so much of pain, but not 2000 years back. 2,000 years back, it must still have been very beautiful.
A lot of difference between gold and iron. The
Gold
price
and
difference.
iron. Yes, definitely. So when we shift from Silver Age to Copper Age, that's when body consciousness creeps in, vices begin. See, all the vices will stem only from body consciousness. I am a body, so then there is lust. I am a body, so I need to acquire things, so greed. I am a body, I will die, I will have to leave everybody, attachment. I am a body, if I don't get so much, I will be angry. All these vices come with body consciousness. Soul consciousness, all vices disappear and original qualities are used again. So when these vices started creeping in, pain started being experienced, people started having animosity, little hurt, little hatred. Society started little disintegrating, not compared to what it is today. It was hardly anything, but compared to heaven, it was a disintegration. There was very little disharmony, but compared to a perfect world, that disharmony seemed like what is happening to all of us. It's like a family where everyone was united, and suddenly that family is seeing that we are having little fights. Today we have separated. We are all living in separate houses. Today many of us don't even know who the neighbor is, who's staying, what is happening in their house. If someone comes to know something is happening, we say, better not to interfere in other people's lives.
The place I live in, state of Maharashtra, especially Mumbai, people find out a dead body after,
Yes.
it starts stinking because nobody knows.
Absolutely. There are people who would say, oh, we are happy when that person is in pain. In Hindi it said, unke dukh mein hame sukh lagta hai. So where have we shifted? We have shifted from, we used to feel bad if somebody was in pain. Then we reached a stage, we became indifferent to other people's pain. We said, okay, they have a pain, they have problem, that's their problem. And we've reached a stage today where it gives us some kind of pleasure if other people are in pain.
Not only pleasure, but it's so strange that people don't know that somebody's murdered next door.
So, shifted from the whole village living as one family to not knowing what's happening in my neighbor's house. Sometimes not even knowing what's happening in my brother's house or child's house or my parents' house. Not knowing. Because
living in the same house, we don't know when the child has come home, when is he going,
yes.
Where is anybody gone. And
I met a family and there was this young couple and they said, oh, we watch Awakening every evening at 7:10. I said, good. And then they said, what happened one evening? We just realized we were watching Awakening in our bedroom. The elder brother was watching with his wife in his bedroom and our in-laws were watching in their bedroom. And all these days we didn't know that we were all watching the same program at 7 o'clock in the evening. Living in the same house.
I love it.
Living in the same house. So this is how we are disintegrating. But today we are accepting it. And we say,
if you ask them this question, they'll say at least we're living in the same under the same roof.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we're still cooking in the same kitchen, it's a very big thing in today's time, they will say. But at the beginning of Copper Age, when this just crept in, it came as a big shock to people. Suddenly, a perfect family had started having problems. It was like that. Somebody who never had problems, never ever had problems, had started having problems. Somebody could actually cheat another one. It was like you cheated your brother. That is how everyone saw that society was disintegrating. Now we need help.
The first time I heard somebody divorced his wife, it was a shock. I said, oh, there's something called divorce.
Something like this happened because we were living with the belief, once married, you will always be there together. And how old is that? 50 years back. So 2,500 years back, it was still a perfect world. So when this little disintegration started, disharmony began, we experienced first signs of pain. We started looking for help. We said, we need help. Where's the Father? And we started looking for God because we remembered, again, that remembrance was there. He's the one who loves unconditionally, protects, blesses, gives us all the powers. And we started building our first temples. And like we saw last time, the first temples were of Shiv, Jyoti, Linga, symbol of point of light. Those were our first temples. First time calling out to Him. Now, when we must have built the first temples, we were very clear, this is a symbol of God. This is not God. This is a symbol of the point of light. And when I sit and meditate or concentrate or pray over there near that symbol, I'm not connecting to that symbol. I'm connecting to a source of power of whom I have made this symbol there.
This badge you're wearing, a symbol of Brahmakumaris.
Right, symbol.
But that badge is not Brahmakumaris.
Absolutely. It's just a symbolic representation of the truth. Now, gradually, as the problems started increasing and pain started increasing, very, very special, pure souls came onto this earth according to their time and according to their role to take care of society, to protect society. Abraham, the first prophet, who came and gave again the message that God is light. And he said Jehovah. India, it was first said Shiva. He said Jehovah, which was more or less very similar. Now these we need to see, this is a soul coming from the soul world. Pure, powerful, and he's just coming from where the Father is. And here he's coming to people who've moved away from the Father since a very long time. So they don't remember too much about the Father. So this brother comes here and gives them the message of, have you forgotten that we're all brothers? And everyone starts talking about unity. One Father and unity, brotherhood of mankind, brotherhood of humanity under one Father. So he started giving a message of the moral and the right way of living. How old was this? 500 years before Christ. Abraham, the prophet, came on the planet 500 years before Christ. What are we today? We are about a little more than 2000 years after Christ. So 500 years before that becomes almost 2500 years from today, which means the beginning of Copper Age. That was the beginning of Copper Age.
Okay.
Another place, Shankaracharya. Because originally in heaven, in Satyug and Treta Yuga, we were all pure souls. There was no concept of lust. It was purity. As we came into the Copper Age, Dwapar, body consciousness, so lust started creeping in. Now, this pure soul wanted to give the message of purity. That what has happened to us? We were all pure. Where are we all moving away from our original purity? So he gave the concept of renunciation. Sannyas is where it started, that we need to live pure lives, pure physically also and pure mentally also. And Shankaracharya set in the method of sannyas, that move away. But because they couldn't explain how you can do it being with people, they said move away from your home. Go away, go into the jungle, go into the mountains and practice purity. So somebody was teaching morals, somebody was teaching values, somebody was teaching about purity. They were all teaching that which we had just given up. It's like we are healthy, we just started falling ill, and there are souls who want to take us back to our original health, so they start teaching us this. Then came Jesus Christ, which is a little more than 2000 years from now. Again, finger up there, gave only one message. God is light, and he gave the message of forgiveness and love. And all these prophets, they had those values in their personal life. They were living role models for people then. And very important for us, we need to understand that those souls who were living with them at that time in Copper Age were very clear about this. They were not talking religion. They were very clear that here has come this pure soul and he's giving us the message of God. It was not religion being established then. They were just, somebody came to guide us. Somebody came to heal us. Somebody came to take care of us. So Jesus Christ then came in. Then one after the other. Then Gautam Buddha. Now Gautam Buddha came in the area of India where different concepts of God had started. Because after we built temples in the remembrance of Shiva and we did Shiva Jyotirlinga, when the body consciousness increased, we couldn't concentrate on the Jyotirlinga. We said, because I am a body, God also must be some, because my father also must be some human form. So the next temples that we started building were of the deities. First we built of Shiv Jyotirling. After that we started building temples of Shri Radhe, Krishna, Lakshmi, Narayan, Ram, Sita, and of course so many more after that. Now we understand who were those deities. Those deities were pure souls who had just crossed here, golden and silver age. And here when I come into copper age, 100 years or 200 years later, I don't see that purity in myself. So I built statues or monuments or photographs of our forefathers, deities. And we started worshipping them. Now, if somebody worshipped Sri Krishna, somebody worshipped Sri Ram, somebody worshipped Sri Hanuman, those also started becoming like sects. I worship this one, separate sect. I worship this one. And we started again disintegrating. At that time, Gautam Buddha came and said, keep aside the concept of God. Let's talk about the right way of living. So that he wanted people to move away from this topic which was causing disintegrity in them. He did not say there's no God. Sometimes today we say Buddhism doesn't believe in God, but that's not the truth. It's just that his focus was, finally, we have to live right lives. And so he gave us the eightfold path of living, right action, right speech, right way of living. Mahavir, another, again talked about incorporeal. So one after the other, what were all these prophets doing?
Trying to remind you
of God. And trying to tell you, connect to Him. Because if you connect to Him, you'll remain grounded, connected, stable. You will not scatter like this. You will remain powerful if you're connected to the powerhouse. You're all depleting like this, disintegrating like this. So they all came for that. They were all coming in different parts of the world, 500 years before or later. Later, as time passed, these teachings that were given gradually became into institutions and gradually into religion. Finally then you have structures and systems and followers. Initially there was nothing like that. Nothing. And then we came to a point that in the name of religion we just became separate from each other, because this is who I believe, this is what you believe. Now, very, very important thing that happened in the Copper Age was also the scriptures. All our scriptures that we are studying today were all written in the Copper Age. And now we understand that what we are reading today was written probably 2000 years before. And like we saw earlier, something written before, according to society at that time, according to the prevailing condition of society at that time, according to the state of mind at that time of the one who was writing it, and the message which was applicable that time. The essence was very true, but now after 2000 years, the way we perceive it has probably changed a little bit. When we started writing these scriptures, now we have to see why the scriptures were being written. The scriptures were being written again for protection of society at that time, to give a social message. The social message was of unity, of loyalty, of obedience, of honesty. This was the message which had to be given to the souls at that time who had just begun using other ways of living. Let's look at it today. Today, if you have to give a social message, whether it's to do with global warming, whether it's to do with environmental protection, whether it's to do with using green, whether it's to do with AIDS, whether it's to do with tourism of the country, When you have to give a social message to people, how is it done today, even today? How do we give a social message to people?
Through television, newspapers.
Right, through media. So which means we write something. Either we write a book, we write an article. Today we have electronic media, so we have TV, we have movies. How do we give the social message? We make a little film. It could be a 1-minute film, it could be a 30-minute film. It's a film. When we make the film, we create a little story. How is a message? Like even as when we were children, we had the Panchatantra stories, the Jakarta stories. We wanted to teach children about moral.
Yeah, we did plays in small towns, how bad is plastic, on the street.
Right. So
Street plays.
Street plays. Now street plays would have a little story. Because if we give message as theory, don't do this, this is bad, this is good, people don't remember it. For somebody to give a message in a very effective manner, if it is given in the form of a story, story is never forgotten. And the story also gives the message. So you take a story, take the message, create a story around that message so that the people will remember the story and thereby the message. Now, if we want to create a little story and give the message, and then even today, we use a celebrity to endorse that message, right? Because we know if this person says it, people will listen to it. When you have somebody endorsing that message or promoting that message, we will take care that that person also believes in that message. Only then it will have its credibility. If someone's talking about vegetarianism and somebody is promoting about animal welfare and animal protection, then it won't be a person who's consuming it himself or herself. It will be a person who lives that in his life. Then we say, this person can endorse this message. So the method is very simple. Make a story, integrate the message, and have characters in that story who stand for that message, who stand for that value system. Today, we very clear, we understand that this is a story. And this character believes in that message. But the story that that character is playing there, it's not that character's life. He's just playing a role in that story. Simple. Once that character moves out of that story, he has its own life. That is different. Now, what happened in Dwapar Yuga? We had to give messages. We had to give message of how an obedient son should be, how an obedient brother should be, how a loyal wife should be.
All value systems.
All value system, which had just started crumbling.
Disintegrated.
Just started crumbling. So we wrote very powerful messages so that we could convey that complete system of way of living. And every story had one message, the victory of truth over evil. Every message says, finally who wins? Truth wins. Honesty wins. Value system win. Because that is what we were trying to teach. That is what was the pure intention of the ones who wrote all the scriptures. While writing that story, who would be the characters who would endorse that story?
The biggest star.
The biggest star. Who were the biggest stars? Who lived those value systems? Who lived those value systems? Those deities who were in Satyug.
We used to hero worship them.
Absolutely. Because whether it's Sri Krishna, Sri Ram, they lived those values because they were in the golden and the silver age. Those souls were pure souls. They lived those values. So we came into copper age. We wrote a story, took the figure from here, which stood for those value systems. So it was easy to relate, oh yes, loyalty is this, honesty is this. And we were getting the message. But to prove that truth wins over evil, we had to create some more characters. Because how will I show evil? If today you have to draw a painting of showing anger fails, peace wins over anger. Draw this as a picture. How will you draw? Peace wins over anger. Honesty wins over lies. Draw this as a painting.
A very peaceful figure is standing upon evil.
Evil. Now draw evil. okay, I understood this peaceful figure, and you have to show, because that picture is not going to speak, so I have to give the complete message in the picture. Peace wins over evil.
Yeah, evil maybe with long teeth and, with big eyes,
Right.
and the children get scared with that
So
kind of
ugly.
a picture. Ugly.
Ugly. Absolutely ugly. Now, this ugly figure that you draw is not a living entity.
It's my imagination.
It's not an imagination. It's a pictorial representation.
Okay.
How, like today, if we want to show...
Slide shows we do.
No, like we want to say cigarette smoking is dangerous. So what do we draw? Yeah. If we want to show, okay, 440 volts, don't touch there. So what do we draw?
Yeah. We show death.
Yeah, so we show one skull and those two bones like this. This is a pictorial representation of danger. What will be a pictorial representation of vices? I want to show lust, I want to show greed, I want to show anger, I want to show hatred, and then I want to show how love wins over this.
Maybe intoxicated men with a sword in one hand and trying to kill somebody. And
True.
Looking ugly, fat, and
Absolutely.
not
This
good
is
looking
it.
at all.
This is it. These were the devil that we created. The devil, which was not a living entity. We need to understand this today. We were talking about victory over the devil inside us, victory over our own vices. But we had to represent it. We had to teach it. So how will we draw it? So we drew statues, we did paintings, and in all of them, what did we show? Divine, pure, peaceful deities, and victory over
Evil.
evil. Message conveyed. Message conveyed. Even the Devis that we show today, no Durga, no Devi. Every Devi is standing or sitting, and under her feet you have some ugly black character. That doesn't mean she killed somebody and was standing on it. It just means she killed the devil inside
It's
her.
good over evil.
Good over evil. So good over evil was being represented in different forms physically, pictorially, stories, poetry, painting. This is how it started in Dwapar Yuga to give us a message. This is how you have to be. You will always win. Every poem, every story said you will always win if you use your value system. And that's how they were started initially. The intention was that.
That's why when we write books, we say adapted from so-and-so.
Absolutely.
Inspired by so-and-so character.
True.
Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Inspired by...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, sister. It's so inspiring. Let's continue this in the next episode immediately.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
The third age was Copper Age. Souls started getting attached to the body. Body consciousness and the first traces of ego, lust, anger, greed, and attachment were experienced. In Copper Age, pure souls like Ibrahim, Shankaracharya, Christ, Buddha, and Mahavir descended from the soul world into this world to give the message of one God Father and universal brotherhood. Scriptures were written to give a powerful message on values. The characters in the message were those deities who had lived those values. But it was only a message, not the life story of the deities. The war of deities with devils was only to give a message of the victory of truth over evil.
If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajayoga Meditation Center, write to us at awakeningwithbks@gmail.com or call us on 099 99 744 555.